Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Tuesday. I'm here with
James, Chris,
and Mark, and you're watching The Lounge.
Interview is different interview. Your energy is different.
You know, it's always fun to see different people's ideas and how their interpretations of things.
It's an agricultural product.
Because the industry at that time, they don't know how to sell cigars.
You're going to be able to travel to Orlando within an hour.
Purchased 50% of the factory, which is at that point tiny.
I'm from the Dominican Republic. I came here in 1989.
I was like in the middle of the Rio Plata there, and I had no reception, nothing. I was totally in the dark. I had no idea that it happened.
I get to meet a lot of different people.
If you're looking at the audience, they're trying to sort through millions of records.
You guys want to give me a little intro about yourselves, you know, where you're at, or how you got here, why you're in the social media world?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so I think it's best if Chris starts off and they'll go at it.
Cool. Yeah, so Mark and I founded the company 2.5 years ago. We were both fraternity brothers at FIU, both running separate businesses, and you know we were friends, but not the best of friends. And you know, just by doing business, I guess you're always gonna attract yourself to somebody else who's in the same industry or realm of what you're doing. So we connected from there. We started our own digital media company where, similar to you, where we would interview a lot of successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and musicians. And from there we saw the power of social media, how important it is for today's day and age. I mean, you're going to take this podcast and post it on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. And we saw that a lot of companies aren't doing it the right way, and we saw a huge need, especially in South Florida. And we built from South Florida, and kind of now we're building out nationally, working with a lot of athletes as well and businesses. So that's kind of how we got together, and then I'll let Mark give his own spin on things too.
So I got my start in this entire thing as kind of a way to make extra money. Should probably move closer to the mic. Kind of a way to make extra money while I was in college. I started college as a biology major, and so I didn't have time for a job. So as you know, I started doing research. One of my really close friends tipped me off to a website called Teespring that lets you make your own shirts. You can make any shirt you want for whatever you want. It costs zero money, and they make their money based off the profit of what you sell it for. They take it out of the total sale, and you're left with $5-10 per shirt, depending on how much you charge. So
I remember it.
Yeah, and it's still around, but it had its heyday kind of like 2014, 2015, and so I dove really deep into that because it was the only thing that I could do while still doing full-time biology classes. After about 1.5 years, you know, it went really, really well. I revenued, my company did over $185,000 in sales while I was still in school. And then I kind of started to realize, you know, maybe there's a future here outside of just selling t-shirts. This is all fine and dandy, but there's a lot of competition. You know, once people from overseas start seeing it, in places where $1 profit per shirt is a lot of money, it's very difficult to maintain high margins. So I kind of took the money, the credibility, everything like that, and met up with Chris. We started doing the media platform that he was talking about, and then somebody that Chris interviewed needed help marketing an event. At the time, neither of us were actually doing marketing agency work. So Chris just said, "Oh well, I have a friend named Mark who's pretty good at Facebook ads. I'm sure he could help you, you know, generate ticket sales through Facebook for your event." It was a keynote with Damon John. So really, you know, anything with Damon John's going to sell itself. It was just about effectively getting it in front of the right people. So I met with him, and basically we sold the event out. And so the guy was like, you know, like, what you guys just did, a lot of people need. And if you don't start an agency, I'm going to start an agency.
Literally word for word. He said, if you don't start a social media agency, I'm going to start one.
Yeah.
I said, all right, man, see you well.
Yeah. So you know, basically we thought about it, and we were like, yeah, you know, it's a good idea. Kind of like whenever somebody says something, and when it's not your idea, sometimes you don't really take it into as much consideration. And so whatever, Chris called me one day, and I was at a tailgate.
Yeah. I was going to say, tell the real story.
Yeah, it's a real story. And I was very, very
intoxicated.
I was drunk. I was drunk as shit at a tailgate. And I don't know if we're allowed to curse on this show. But
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
And,
you have to be 18 to smoke anyway.
Exactly.
There you go.
So I was at a tailgate and he called me and he's like, dude, we should start an agency. I was like, let's do it. It's a great idea. And
I didn't know you were drunk. I was like,
yeah,
I'll create the business plan. We'll get this thing going. We'll get it started. And then we worked at FIU for a little bit.
And there's
we
history.
worked at a few Starbucks along the way. We rarely.
Yeah.
I live up in Broward and he lives in Palmetto Bay. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had to figure it out. Like, find Starbucks in the middle. FIU is, I guess, a central location.
Yeah, go to each other's houses from time to time.
Yeah.
Like,
And then, you know, we built it from doing that. And then we got a co-working space in Doral. And that was great. We were there for a year. Pipeline Workspaces in Doral. We were like the first members there, and it was cool to have like an entire space. But at the same time, we were paying, you know, a good amount for the size of our closet right now. You know, and then we found this gym over here in Coral Gables. Perfect location, perfect situation for us. A place that we can grow into, which we have. And you know, we've been doing well. And then about 6 months ago, we brought James on board as well. I've known James from previous things that we've done in the past, business, and you know, I saw what he was doing. He worked with Emerge Americas a lot, and I'll let him kind of go ahead and introduce himself as well.
Yeah, so born and raised here in Miami. Worked at a couple different companies. One of them being Emerge Americas, which sort of put me onto the whole startup tech scene. And so I've known Chris for almost 5 years. So we had sort of stayed in touch, and every time we saw each other at Kane's game on campus, things like that, we always caught up and kept tabs on each other. Right before I graduated last year, we ran into each other at the RAT over at UM, and he approached me and he said, hey, listen, we've got a really good thing going, we're growing in the right direction, and I think that it would be really cool if we could do something together. At the time, I sort of had a plan set for what I wanted to do after I graduated, which was just travel and relax for a bit and try and be a normal person for a couple months.
Millennial lifestyle, baby.
Yeah, right? I want to have the world and not pay for it. So after I came back and after the holidays and everything else, we were able to touch base again, and here we are, 6 months later. So it's been a great ride so far, and
it's only been 6 months
since I've been at Rightsyde since January.
So how long? So you guys have been established in October 2015.
October 2015 was when I guess we.
So about 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Wow. That's crazy how time flies by, right?
our LLC file date is October 16th. So
we got our first client like November-ish.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Time flies, yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
So you guys opened the LLC together originally. It was you two from the beginning?
it was never really like I first started before the guy told us that we should start an agency. I kind of started doing it because the same guy had referred me to like a health clinic, and dude, it's hard to do completely by yourself.
No,
it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's just there's so many things
the right way
to it.
The right way
to
do
do
it is
right.
going to take a lot of people. Well, a lot of manpower. I know definitely.
Even then, I mean, like what he was saying too. Like he started his thing by himself. I started my thing by myself, and at the same time, it's like you only have your. I feel like the tough part about it is that you only have your opinion. You can't really bounce opinions or ideas off somebody else.
Yeah,
you can see something from a different viewpoint. I mean, like we're completely different, him and I. But at the same time, we're very similar in very important traits. We're very similar, but sometimes the way we think are very different. It's awesome to hear like his side, the way he looks at it, my side, James' side, Johnny's side, like everyone really who works in here. It's cool to see the different viewpoints and like obviously putting a perfect plan together to do whatever it is.
And like also just like the way people are, right? Like I wake up sometimes at noon. I shouldn't. Obviously, I'm running a business. I shouldn't be. But I stay up until 4. And I get the majority of my work because I focus more on the analytical side, the advertisement, paid media, everything like that. That stuff doesn't necessarily need me to be working conventional hours. But if I was running an agency by myself, right? If I was the point man, if it was just a client that you say, oh yeah, I can't talk until 1 every day. You know, like I don't wake. So now I'm waking up early, of course, but it's still like it's just not me. Like I'm not the guy like the traditional. You know, you got to be up at 5 in the morning type, and like I mean, he's not either. He's not either, but like
I've tried, man. I've tried.
It's hard. It's hard. But there's people that do it, and he still wakes up a lot
Kudos
earlier
to
than
them,
I do,
man.
and much more
Right.
consistently.
God bless.
But like there'll be days where we have something and I just don't wake up. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So like by
I feel like that's how it used to be though. Like not anymore. Like honestly, when we first started, like there were times where I'm like, "This guy serious?" You know. But no,
Working on it.
I would say like within a year or
I had
year
to
and a
set
half,
6 alarms
he's
so I
gotten-
would wake up.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah. So I would be here by
still have
10.
those days.
I had to set 6 alarms. I set the first one for 7:45, and I wasn't out of my bed until 9. Just to give you an idea. So it's a challenge, man. It's a challenge. I'm working on it. But like just little things like that. You need somebody else to kind of help you out and be there, be accountable.
Of course, yeah. Especially when you're building something, you always want a good foundation. So even just starting it off, being able to grow it needs,
Well, I mean, and that's like growing a business. I mean, we're all young.
Of course.
I'm the oldest one in the office. I'm 24.
24.
So, just to give you an idea that we're pretty young.
Yeah.
But like, I've also been able to see like how a good business, like when things are functioning properly, it's because everyone's playing their part. Like, there's no number 1, number 2, number 3. Like everyone's playing their part. Like a football team, basketball team, everyone's doing their thing. I think when things get mixed up is when other people try playing other people's parts. Like what he does on the analytical and the paid media side, I know what it is. Obviously, like I know about it and the power of it, but I'm not in there touching it every day. He's the one. It's his thing, and vice versa. And same thing with like James. Like if everyone plays their own part, that's how a business really succeeds and succeeds quickly, and nothing falls through the cracks.
Yeah, 100%. What were some of the difficulties you guys faced when you first opened the business? You said you found your client about a month after.
Yeah.
So was it finding more clients?
I think the most difficult part was, and it was kind of like a two-sided thing, right? When we were even younger than we are now. I was in 2015. I think I was 21.
You were 21. I was 22.
Yeah, I was 21 years old, and so we're not asking for a couple $100s a month when we pitch because it's not practical for us to.
Absolutely not.
So we're 21 years old. Thankfully, we had some credibility. We weren't, because there's people that start this, not to say that they don't know what they're doing, but they don't have results from prior. They just take it up. It's like, oh, I want to do this. And so they have to, kind of do other things. But like, thankfully, I had the credibility from when I used to sell T-shirts. I got in a couple of articles. I was in Business Insider, New York Post, and Teespring's blog. Chris had been featured in a lot of other media outlets as well with what he was working in. He had credibility, and he had, most importantly, I think he had a network. He had a really, really, I did not have as much of a network. And like people like, it wasn't the same, but he had a network of other business people and other people very active in that space. So thankfully, that was like what helped us a lot, because we were able to leverage that a lot to get the first couple people to work with us quickly. And what he did with his media platform, VU, which is no longer active, RIP.
What was it? I'm interested.
No, we reached out to a lot of.
But what was it?
It was like a podcast and a video podcast as well. Like just I guess like a digital channel just to kind of create content. Honestly, like quick tidbit on that. That's the reason why we're doing this. Honestly, and another big reason is that I wanted to network with people who were young that have built very successful companies. The best way to do that is to reach out to them and say, hey, I want to interview you.
Of course,
everyone wants to talk about themselves. So it was a perfect way to do that. And we interviewed the guy who built. Yeah, there you go. You're doing it yourself. I'm not saying that we're really successful.
No, of course. No, but I mean, you guys are somewhat older than me. Exactly.
You're able to come at them from a different angle, because if we came to, he was gonna say that we interviewed the guy that, he interviewed the guy that created Elite Daily, and that was a really popular website.
Sold it for $50 million.
Yeah. Jeez.
I didn't even know you can do that.
Yeah, he's a good one. His name's Gerard Adams. He's really, he's a great dude.
It's crazy.
If we were a marketing agency and said, hey, we want to pitch you our services, you wouldn't have given us the time of day. But by being able to say, like, we have a podcast that features successful entrepreneurs, we'd be honored to have you on it. It's like, okay, it takes 20 minutes out of his day. We come set up, do everything. And, it's just something else. It's just another out there. Like, the more that you put yourself out there, the more that you're going to get. So
You were saying that after that,
That's kind of where we created Rightside.
Oh, yeah.
From that.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, but you said something because of BU.
Oh, well, because of BU, we were able to meet a lot of people that we wouldn't have met as Rightside.
Yeah.
And people that, you know, once they kind of got to know us through BU, they're like, oh, and then we go back and we tell them, well, we're doing this now. It's like, okay, well, you guys did great work here. It should easily translate over here. So that was kind of like our segue into this. We didn't kind of just jump straight in, but kind of got our feet in the water first. And once people met us, trusted us, and knew who we were, it made things a lot easier.
Yeah.
So that, I would say the biggest struggle was developing that and just being young.
Of course.
Nobody wants to trust a 21-year-old or two 21-year-olds with
authenticity,
with a marketing budget, which is anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 a month.
I think it's still
faced
today. I mean, it's
well, yeah, of course.
I mean, especially in Miami. I mean, there are a lot of, not just in Miami, everywhere. There are a lot of agencies that are run by people that have been in marketing since marketing became important for businesses.
Older than us.
Much older than our lives, you know.
Yeah, with more manpower that they can.
So
put on.
It's tough to show, hey, listen, we can do what these people are doing for you. We can do something better. We can show you open this other door for your business. But developing that trust and everything else with them can be a challenge sometimes.
Right.
But once that door's open, once that relationship is built, that's where I think we thrive, because we're three pretty personal people. Four personal people that the people we work with love to hang out, love to see. And we love developing that relationship, and our goal is to sort of have that relationship be a long-term one. We're not in it for a quick 3 months or anything like that. The same way as we want to grow, I mean, we're a small agency, we want to help our clients grow. It's a mutually beneficial relationship.
What does your future look like, you think? What are you guys doing now to solidify something for the future?
I mean, what we're doing now, like as you guys were talking about, like the bigger agencies, we're not trying to be an agency that has 100, 250 people. Right now we're self-funded, like really our business is very profitable from the beginning, just because of the way that the nature of the way we make money.
Neither of us had to put $1 in to build this.
We technically had to put $50 in for our bank account
to
activate the bank account,
just to have the money.
That's it. And then the first few months, whatever we made, we kind of but to pay rent, like just to get started, like whatever we were making from our clients, we were kind of putting back into the business to grow and scale it and do that. But we want to build this agency to a self-funded, I would say, 30-person, 25 to 30-person, have really good clients that we've had for a long time, and then really then more than anything, you want to build a machine so that way, like we're entrepreneurs, and someone was it Jeff and Eddie were telling us to always keep your business, but always have that entrepreneurial aspect. So let's say that we want to start our own restaurant, or if we want to start some sort of platform or whatever it might be, we already have the tools to do so. All you have to do is run it through the machine, the Rightside machine that we've built. So that's one angle, honestly, I think we're too young to be saying, like, I think our company is too young to be saying, oh, this is exactly where we're going to be in 7 years, because what we're doing right now is completely different from what we did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And
everything
with social media, it changes every day. Mm-hmm. The way to monetize it changes every day.
Of course.
And there's just so many, with technology, like, every day is different, every year is different, has new and honestly, it's becoming a little bit easier for us as well to go into a company and say, this is exactly what we do, because now companies are understanding it as well.
Focus that you guys focus on, something you guys specialize in.
Social media, advertising, content creation.
And which social media? All of them?
Facebook and Instagram mostly, just because of the two powerhouses.
No, definitely.
Depending on your market, Pinterest is very powerful as well. Twitter's great. It doesn't have an effective advertising platform. So if you have a company that has never been on social media before, our advice is don't do Twitter, but like use Twitter. Your people can follow you there if they want to, but it's not going to be where you're delivering your content. It's not going to be where your audience is. Right. It's great for last minute announcements and everything like that, but what we did a lot, especially at the beginning, was take companies that had zero social media presence and help them, climb from nothing to a significant following.
But that like to the point that we were talking about before, also, that was a little bit of a struggle as well. Is at the beginning, it was like,
because it takes time.
Well, social media. Like we're talking about like social media. You were trying to pitch social media plans, not really marketing plans with billboards or advertising on radio or TV. Nothing. We're pitching social media plans. This is the first time they ever heard about social media plans. So it's a blessing and a curse at the same time because they don't know. It was a blessing because we could price whatever we wanted to because there was no competition. No one, except for the owner's daughter's boyfriend or the owner's son that runs the account or the owner's daughter that runs the account. Like there was really no competition out there to go ahead and like pitch these plans. But at the same time, now it's everyone's more aware. People are coming to us where it's like, hey, I need to be on social media. What do I do? And that's kind of what we come in and we help them out.
Well, you guys have any last words you want to tell the audience before we wrap this up?
RightsydeMedia.com, baby.
Yeah. All right, guys. You want to say something?
No, that was RightsydeMedia.com.
And at Rightside on Instagram.
There you go.
With a Y.
With a Y. With a Y.
Because we're Generation Y, if you're wondering.
Really? Is that why?
Yeah, Generation
Y.
Y.
I guess.
I guess we could have started with that.
Yeah. So the story behind our name is
hardest thing.
That's probably been the biggest challenge.
Talk about challenges.
The story behind our name, it's Rightside Media, but where Rightside came from was we're sitting at Pasión del Cielo in Coral Gables, trying to come up with a name. It was the same time that we did our LLC, and we were just trying to come up with a name for it. We didn't know what. So I didn't want to completely throw away the 3 years of biology that I studied, right? So I was like, okay, let me at least pay homage to that and incorporate it somehow into the name. So my first idea was synapse marketing, which was a little corny. But
as you can imagine,
it was synapse marketing, but I'm thinking from this, a synapse is a connection between two neurons. So so it's like we're the connection between the client and the consumer. But it was corny. Super corny.
Yeah.
And then Chris's idea was media with a Y, MEDYA. But in Spanish, that's media, which means sock. We're not going to call our company sock. And then Chris's next thought was like, oh, well, what's the part of the brain responsible for creativity? The right side. So, oh shit. Okay. Then we'll take the idea of the Y in media, replace the second I in right side. Boom. Rightside Media.
There you go.
That's how.
Not only for the domain name, but the reason why is, we're a social media focused agency, and the generation that built social media is Generation Y, which is our generation. So that helped out with the whole domain name. It helped out with.
We were able to get everything.
So that's why we highlighted it in green. Is also
in 2 months there's going to be an agent, or after this airs, there's going to be 2 agencies, and it's going to be Synapse Marketing and Media.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe someone takes that. Maybe someone takes that.
Someone gets the idea.
They can buy those up right now.
They can take those ideas.
But yeah, man, I think that now wraps it up perfectly.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for staying tuned to the end of this episode. If you like what we had to say and you want to see more, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow Rightside at Rightside Media, side with a Y. And you can follow us on Instagram at The Lounge Media, at Gables Cigars. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for Whiskey Wednesdays.
Nice. Why don't we do Whiskey Wednesdays?